Welcome to the official meeting for the City of Douglas Mayor's Youth Council, which is taking place on the 16th of January, 2024. We will now have invocation by Jameson Cummings. Please bow your head for a word of prayer. Lord, I want to thank you for letting us make it to this new year in a healthy state, not bedridden. I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for everything that you do for us as a people and for the City of Douglas. I just want to thank you for having food on the table for us, waking us up this morning in our right mind. I want to thank you for everything that you do for us. Amen. Amen. We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now have the approval of order of the agenda. Now that you have seen the agenda, may I now have a motion for the approval of order of the agenda?
I, Jordan Cleveland, motion for the approval of the order of the agenda.
Isaiah Hunt, second this motion.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All against say nay. Motion carried. We will now have the recognition of Spotlight by Dixon Pettifer.
Mr. Montgomery is the owner of Force Jiu-Jitsu, and he has a total of 16 years of grappling experience. He teaches Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to adults and kids. He is also a brown belt competitor in Jiu-Jitsu. He is a former college wrestler, and he is an ISSA elite trainer. He lives by this quote, "In order to live the life you want to live, you must be the version of yourself worth achieving that." And he started Jiu-Jitsu because he has a vision that led him to build a foundation, also known as Force, to help him achieve other people's goals and his purpose in life.
If you will come forward and meet Mr. Dixon under the City of Douglas sign. Can you pull Jameson, just go under the sign, Dixon, and get his, present. Support it, slide over, just a little bit. Okay. One, two. Mr. Montgomery, would you like to have a few words or? Tell them about, what you offer.
Yeah, so I own. Oh yeah. So Dixon's one of my students. I own Force Jiu-Jitsu. We teach martial arts to kids and adults. So yeah, biggest thing he says, I just love helping people as well as my own goals of being a competitor too. So come check us out.
And where are you located, sir?
Right behind Dean's office.
We will now have the approval of the November meeting minutes by Zipporah Wilcox.
The November meeting was held on Tuesday, November 21st of 2023. This meeting was held at 6 p.m. at the City of Douglas City Hall. This month's Mayor's Youth Council Spotlight was Junior Commissioner Jordan Cleveland. This month's Community Spotlight was our NYC Coordinator, Ms. Donitra Williams. One of our guest speakers was Commander Walker. Our other guest speaker was Ms. Caitlin Tanner, who spoke about adoption awareness. At this month's meeting, Ms. Dinitra gave the Mayor's Youth Council a recount of Keep Douglas Beautiful activities and upcoming activities in the month. The meeting adjourned following the NYC comments, Junior Mayor Jameson Cummins presiding.
Now that you have heard the November meeting minutes, may I now have a motion for the approval of November meeting minutes?
That was a joint meeting with Jordan and, Zelina.
Now that you,
Those were the two mayor and youth council members that were responsible for the meeting. That's all.
I'll read that again. Now you have heard the November meeting minutes. May I now have a motion for the approval of November meeting minutes?
I, Dominic Minbang, make a motion to approve the November meeting minutes.
I, Zipporah Willcott, second that motion.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
All against state nay. Motion carried. We will now have a recognition of NYC Spotlight. The City of Douglas Mayor's Youth Council acknowledges Dixon Pettifer, given this 16th date of January 2024 by the Mayor's Youth Council. The City of Douglas Mayor's Youth Council recognizes you for your outstanding contributions toward the excelling of Mayor's Youth Council and Team Court programs. We honor you for participation as a Coffee High Children's Scholar Athlete for football with a 95+ average. We also appreciate your service for Team Court and AIM member with almost 100 community service hours. We wish you well in your future endeavors. We will now have a Keep Douglas Beautiful report by Ms. Dinitra Williams.
Good evening,
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
and thank all of you for coming and supporting our Mayor's Youth Council. I have a quick report for Keep Douglas Beautiful. We met this month on the 16th, and the biggest event that's coming up is this Saturday, is your Clear Your Clutter event with Keep Douglas Beautiful. And this is mainly for elderly and our senior citizens that have junk that they want to get rid of, but they can't get it to the polls. So Keep Douglas Beautiful is actually providing the service of helping to pick those items up. There was an application process. Those that applied, we went through the applications and selected the ones in the greatest need and help in getting those items. So we do need volunteers that's gonna meet here at City Hall this Saturday, probably about 8:45, so we can load up, go to the family's residence, get those items and take it to the poll yard. Okay, again, donate your books. That's perfect timing. Donate your books. We have the little libraries, which are opportunities for our citizens to read when they visit our beautiful parks in the city of Douglas. And so we need books, books, books. If you have some gently worn books that you're no longer reading or you have advanced, please share them. You can bring them to City Hall, drop them off, ask for Kristen, and drop them off, and we will restock those boxes. And it has been a great success. People have gone, and we've seen them reading books to their family, to the children, or some of our adults just sitting in the park and reading a book. It's a wonderful thing. So please share your old books that you're no longer reading with the rest of the citizens. Thank you.
I do have a question. So, is there a certain like main objective or goal that you're trying to reach from the Clean Your Clutter event?
Clear the Clutter event.
Yes.
It's to help, those people that cannot, because the pole yards, the pole yards are open twice a month. That's another effort by the city of Douglas to help our community stay clean and beautiful. But there are some of our citizens that don't have access to it. They don't have a truck, or they physically can't get those items and get them there. So this is a partnership with Keep Douglas Beautiful to help those specific citizens.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We thank Ms. Danitra for that report. We will now have Ms. Allison Woodward with her topic being the food bank.
All right, I appreciate y'all letting me come today.
Absolutely.
All righty, not sure how much y'all want to know, but I can go on and on about the food bank because I think it's a great addition to Coffee County. So I'll just give you a little bit of history. We started in May of 2020. I don't know if that year rings a bell. Y'all know what happened in 2020? Kind of changed everybody's lives, didn't it? So COVID was going on, and me and a couple of other ladies, Lisa Leverett Lott and Kimberly Lott, we just kind of threw around the idea because we were concerned about the children in the school systems that were food insecure. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of that term before. And what it means is kids and families who don't exactly know where their next meal is coming from. You know, they may have some food in the house, but as far as, you know, what I'm going to eat for supper tomorrow night, I'm not real sure. So we were very concerned about those people that are in our community and weren't real sure what was going to happen to the children. So anyway, we were thinking about families and children, and we said we need to start a food bank. And it has been something that has been very needed and very used since we've been open. I'll give you a few statistics. In 2021, we helped 10,553 families in that year. In 2022, it rose about 2,000 more families, so it's 12,479 families. This past year, it went up to right at 16,000 families come through. They come through once a month. It is a program that is based on income, and we usually help between 1,300 and 1,400 families a month that come through. And this what you'll see right down here, from here back, is usually what we have in our food boxes, okay? And it's usually basic stuff that people like. We also give 5 to 8 pounds of frozen meat, bread, produce, if we have it, whatever we can get our hands on. The people that help us are Second Harvest in Valdosta. That's a food warehouse that we can buy food from. The food that we get is not free. Now, it's pennies on the dollar compared to going to Walmart, but it still costs money. So we go there. We also have a Midwest food bank that's up in Peachtree City. It's about 3 hours from here. We hire a driver to go get food, and they come about 3 times a month, okay? And then there's also Nature Ripe in Alma, and they give us either their overruns, just like Chick-fil-A here in town. They give us their overruns. So does Starbucks, actually. So all those pastries and things that they couldn't sell right then, that's still in date, there's nothing wrong with it. They generously give it to the food bank, and then we hand it out to the families. So anyway, those are the people that help. We also just wanted to let you know that we are run on donations and we're run on prayer. Okay, so we are, because we were trying to think, what do we want our food bank to be? And it is, our motto is fighting hunger and feeding hope. When you're in a situation where you don't know where your next meal is going to come from, that's a very hopeless situation sometimes. So we have several people that come, and everybody that's there, they know that this is a godly organization, I guess is one way to say it. And I did want to start off, I saw y'all started off with an invitation, and I had a little thing I did want to share with y'all. And all it is just what we start with every single time that we open, which is on Wednesdays and Fridays. We always have a very short devotion, but it sometimes goes like this. How do we put love into action? We serve one another. The Lord modeled this when he washed his disciples' feet. Be patient with one another. This is possible because of the Spirit's presence in us. Be courteous to one another. Even if someone is difficult or disagreeable, treat them with gentleness and love. Set an example for one another in speech and life, in love, in faith, and in purity. This is 1 Timothy 4:12. So anyway, we thought if we don't have God in this, all this is a free grocery store, and we did not want that. So we have people in the community that come out and they pray for the people that are in line if they want prayer. And every new person that comes through gets a Bible, gets a tract. We keep children's Bibles in case there's children in the car. So, like I said, with our motto being fighting hunger and feeding hope, we feel like we're reaching and making relationships with the people in the community. Whether it's and we talk about being a help and being a support on either side of the wall, because even with our volunteers, we are a motley crew up there, okay? So it's just people that want to help. We've had even homeless people come, and they first they start out with a box, and now they're some of our best volunteers, you know. So it's just a wonderful environment to be in. Let me see if I can think of anything else. Do y'all have any questions?
I do.
Sure.
So I remember that I did research regarding the Coffee County Food Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Well, more specifically about the organization that supports the Coffee County Food Bank, Second Harvest of South Georgia, right?
Yeah, yes, that's right.
One of the things that I read on there are that the working in rural areas like South Georgia can be more staggering. So I just wanted to ask, how is your experience working in a rural area like the Coffee County Food Bank?
I get what you're saying, and rural is all I've ever known. I live in Willacoochee, from a very small place, and sometimes because I grew up there, I thought this is the way everybody lived. I did not realize that we are more of a poverty-stricken area of Georgia. And I don't say that to run anybody down. That's just where we are. Okay, so in my opinion and in my experience, we have found nothing but help and community-wide support. Businesses, families, organizations, they all want to come and be a part of it, whether by donations, by prayer, by volunteering. We have, like I said, volunteers everywhere from, churches. We've got several churches, but not only churches. We've got organizations that help. There's, like the hospital and other private schools, banks. They will do like cereal drives for us, carb drives like rice and grits and things like that, things we know people will eat, and it's just been a really good thing to see that people come together and they know that they know it's a good thing to support, so it's really nice. So, is there anything else? Any other questions? I guess one other thing, we do food boxes for families. But we are involved with other churches and help support 800 weekend bags a week that go out to the schools in Coffee County. They're in elementary schools, they're in the middle schools, they're in the high schools. Okay, so there are some, and the children or the students that get the bags are kids that have been either the counselors know about them, the teachers know about them, and they've said this child would benefit from getting a bag, and that's the way. And so you see, there may be applesauce, there'll be Pop-Tarts, but it's something to kind of get them through. It may not be the most nutritious thing, but it'll keep their bellies from being hungry. So that's I think that's about it. If that's good with y'all. All right, thank you.
We will now have NYC position/subcommittees discussion led by Zipporah Wilcox and Jada Marshall.
Good evening, everybody. So, me and Junior Commissioner Jada Marshall, we were discussing how right now in the council, there are only 3 major roles, which is the junior mayor, the mayor pro temp, and the city clerk. So we were discussing how in order, a way for everyone to have an assigned task and everyone to be able to have something at hand that they can do, that we can establish subcommittees within the council. So you will have 3 subcommittees. You will have the social media subcommittee, you will have the recruitment subcommittee, and you will have the community service subcommittee. These committees, the social media subcommittee will be responsible for taking pictures at events. They'll be responsible for making reels for the IG, or, you know, helping with like the social media aspect of the council, making sure that the council stays visible in that manner. And then the recruitment committee will basically be like the mouths of the council. They'll be our engagers. They'll be the people who go out to school telling people, okay, we're the Mayor Street Council, we're doing this week, we're doing this day, you need to come. There'll be the mouths, they'll be our engagers, making sure that people know who the Mayor Street Council is. And then you'll have the community service group, which will be basically our data keepers. They'll be in charge of keeping track of who comes to what community service event. They'll be in charge of seeing about what community service events that the Mayor Street Council can be a part of, seeing where we can go, when we can go. They'll see who shows up. They'll be in charge of keeping up with the hours. They'll be a helper to Ms. Donitra in a way to keep up with who comes, making sure that everyone signs in when they're supposed to sign in. And basically that's what the subcommittees were for the council, just a way to make sure that everyone has an assigned task and it can help build the structure of the council in total. So that's what the ideas that we had came up with. And we wanted to know if the council itself agreed with these ideas.
What was the last subcommittee called?
The last community service subcommittee.
I agree with all the committees. Most definitely, we definitely need all these committees, especially the social media one and the recruitment one, because something that I've seen with the Mayor's Youth Council is that we need people to be more engaged in getting people to not only come into our meetings, but also take part in the Mayor's Youth Council events. But I did want to add on one more subcommittee for y'all's consideration, and that one would be the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. One of the main goals that I had written in my Mayor's Youth Council application was to kind of not only foster the Mayor's Youth Council to be an inclusive space, but also work towards having the city of Douglas make sure that it is an inclusive space. I'm not saying that it is, but I just want to recognize it more often. So the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee would make sure that all the programs that the Mayor's Youth Council does, the initiatives that we do, the toolkits that we might embark on, are inclusive to all students or citizens of the city of Douglas, no matter who they are. So I just wanted to run that across by y'all.
I also agree. I think the subcommittee would be actually very well, give everybody on council a chance to do something. You know, give everybody basically, like you said, a role except from, you know, Mayor Pro Tem, Junior Mayor, and all that. So I really think that's a good idea.
How's everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
First of all, I'd like to apologize for my tardiness. Publix invited me to their family and friends, and they said it was 5 o'clock. That was not a true statement. It was actually 6 o'clock. So I did call Ms. Donitra the moment that I found out about it. I apologize. So once again, I stand before you as guidance. but y'all are a legal and functioning entity. Y'all get to vote on that. One of the things about leadership, according to the United States Army definition in 1981, the art or science of being able to influence an individual or a group of individuals to accomplish a task set by the standards of the organization or yourself. One of the things that I've been in a leadership role since I was 20. I'm 40 now. One of the things that I disapprove of is checking the box leadership. In the city, the actual city, we have disbanded some boards because they were not functioning. And we remove individuals that are not attending. So my thing is, before you vote on this, is to have an in-depth conversation with all the members. Because sometimes in leadership, we get very comfortable delegating somebody else's time and somebody else's resources when we don't show up. You understand?
Yes, sir.
If you notice, I'm probably the only elected official that shows up at all these meetings, correct?
Yes, sir.
Because I asked you to, so I will. So Jada can't say, well, I'm on the community service. Well, I need to make sure all y'all are there, and she never shows up. So I would ask that you consider the functionality of these boards that you are going to have. One of the things that we done here last year, we disbanded the, I think it was the Zoning and Appeals Board, because ultimately that decision will come before the council, and they rarely meet. So it was not a functioning board, but it was on the books. It's easy to create these subcommittees and boards and this and that just to have that title. But what are you doing? What are you doing? I tell folks all the time, it is easy to have the title of father, but what are you doing? So that would be that I would ask that you take a look, maybe sit down, come up with some structure, some guidelines for each subcommittee, because like the last committee, he said, diversity, inclusion, and what's the other one?
Equity.
Equity. That's a big push with the Georgia Municipal Association. And one of the things that the Georgia Municipal Association has figured out, it's very difficult to do that, primarily because the people that you want to be included don't want to be included. And that becomes a challenge. So how many times do we have to go talk to Mr. Dickerson to get Mr. Dickerson to be involved when Mr. Dickerson does not want to be involved? Those meetings are not well attended, and this is on the state level. It is not well attended because it has been challenging. I think that the 4 subcommittees that y'all are talking about are absolutely fantastic. My only thing is, are you gonna work it, or are you just gonna have, hey, we created this, or hey, we created this, hey, we created this? Because I think that other than the last subcommittee, there's gonna be something where you can measure success. If I go on your Facebook page and I don't see anything, you know what I mean? Somebody's not working, correct? If I come to the next meeting and I don't see anybody here, somebody is not working. What was the other one?
Community service.
Community service. If I show up at the community service and I only see Dickerson and Jordan and Destiny, somebody's not working. So these things here are very measurable. diversity, equity, inclusion, sometimes those are subjective. Sometimes those are subjective. And how do you measure that? One of the things that we do as a council, I like to measure things. You know what I mean? I like to know if there's progress. And if there's no progress, you also have to be a council enough to say, hey, this isn't working. And you have to disband that board. I'm not against any of the boards, but what you have done is you've put yourselves in a position where Ms. Donitra, Ms. Juanetta, and myself can monitor. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Because at the end of the day, one of the things that I hate about leadership is checking the box leadership. I said hello to every employee. Okay, you said hello to every employee. But that third employee you said hello to, did you know that his dad just died? That fifth employee you spoke to, did you know that her husband has cancer? Checking the box is saying hello. Leadership is knowing something personal about those individuals. So that's my thing. If y'all decide to vote on this here tonight, y'all have that authority. As I said, y'all are a legal and functioning entity of the city. Cool? Good deal.
I also wanted to point out, I think we should wait for all the members to be present to vote on it, since this is a really big deal, and you don't know if they gonna wanna be in a committee, so I think we should wait for every member to be present. That I had to say. That's good.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor. And that would allow you enough time for y'all to sit down and say what these standards are. Because one of the things that when we're developing subcommittees, that subcommittee then becomes a functioning entity of the mayor's youth council. And hey, what did y'all do? So if Destiny, Jordan, and Dickerson is on one committee, then Jada or Dominique says, hey, I don't see y'all doing anything. Because y'all have to hold each other accountable. Does it make sense, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay, just so then to make a recommendation, Ms. Ventura saying to table this and, supporting, you can identify some members to help you draft out.
Okay.
And as well as you, Dominique, some criteria based on this subcommittee. And it gives the rest of the group an opportunity to think what subcommittee you may be interested in joining. And then you, Mayor, Junior Mayor, bring it back forward at the next meeting.
Yes, ma'am. May I have a motion to push the subcommittee discussion / vote to a later date for further discussion?
I, Dominic Bimbang, make a motion to push this subcommittee discussion to a later date.
I support Wilcox, second that motion.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
All against state nay. Motion carried. We will now have NYC member comments. I'll go first. I want to thank you all for coming out here today. I hope you all have a very great new year, and I wish you all success in your future endeavors.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here, especially Ms. Montgomery, Mr. Montgomery, and Ms. Allison for feeding the 6,000 families. I think that's really well, and have a safe trip back home. That's fine.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. We hope to see you at the next meeting. Thank you for telling us about the food bank tonight.
I'd like to thank you all for coming out, and thank you for the things you do for this community. I'm sure the city of Douglas really appreciates it. You never really know what people go through at home. So something like that is really nice, and it's really touching. And thank you all for coming out again.
Thank you all for coming out. Thank you to our speakers, Mr. Montgomery and Ms. Woodward. Thank you for coming out, and hope to see you at the next meeting.
Thank you all for coming out to this meeting. Thank you to Mr. Montgomery for coming to talk to us about your jiu-jitsu business. It was really nice being able to hear about it. Thank you so much to Miss Allison for coming out here and talking to us about the food bank. I personally think that it is so incredible all that you do for Coffee County and the residents of this city. So I thank you so much. But before I end this, I also wanted to say, while she's not here today, I wanted to give a huge congratulations to our junior city clerk, Kieran Reddy, as she's now going to a nationals competition for Miss United Miss Teen, I believe. Yes, but I'm incredibly proud of her, and I will definitely be rooting her on at nationals. But thank you everybody who came to this meeting.
I'd like to thank y'all for coming, and I would like to inform y'all that Team Court is the first Saturday of each month for grades 6 through 12, and we conduct actual juvenile cases, and we would like to invite you to come out and to bring your youth, and I hope to see you all at our next meeting.
Good evening. Thank you, Ms. Woodard, for coming out and speaking to us about the food bank. I think that's very generous that you open your heart and your mind to consider those that are less fortunate, and thank you everybody for coming out tonight.
With no other business to come before this council, may I now have a motion for dismissal?
Isaiah Hunt would like to make a motion for dismissal.
Azapori Wilcox, second that motion.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
All against say nay. This meeting is dismissed.